Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I'm about to give you all a tour of this book. And the reason why I'm doing this video is to help me to understand the book more. And by going through the book itself, I will understand it a bit better because I am not a professional artist. I didn't go to art school. I don't have an art teacher, and I have a hard time going on YouTube and looking at tutorial videos because it's hard to comprehend. So I decided to do a documentary, and I am aiming to do my very first one-shot comic. And I'm going to be doing my one-shot comic the Marvel way. So we're going to go through the book really quick. I don't want to take much of your time. And I am basically methodically going through this book because I want to know every single thing and absorb it. And you'll get to know chapter by chapter how I'm going to do the videos, things like that. So I'm going to draw a lot. I'm going to write a lot, stuff like that. And you're going to see eventually I will make my very own one-shot comic the Marvel way. So in the back, we have Five Below, which is the store I went to get this. And Five Below is basically a $5 store that sells $5 products. And I didn't realize how important this book is because this book is good for beginners learning to draw comics. And I also like that it's not limited because it's old-fashioned. And because it's old-fashioned, it allows me to work the old-fashioned way to make comics. And I really dig that. It's basically the basic blocks before you get to the modern blocks, right? So I like to focus on the thing that needs to be focused on, and that is how to do art and how to draw. And that's going to help me. So I'm going to open the book and how to draw comics the Marvel way, how to draw comics the Marvel way. By Stanley and John Buscema, the dedication page. I'm just going to go through the book. I'm not going to stop too much because I'll go through the book in chapter by chapter in other videos because I'm going to be doing the work in each chapter as I make my one-shot comic. So we got the contents here. We got the preface here. Okay. And then we got chapter 1. We got the tools and the talk of the trade. And these are all the tools that they used back in the day. Okay, don't worry, I'll get the tools. I'll show the tools off in another video. So let's keep going. There's examples of a comic cover and comic panels and what they mean. And then you have other stuff like, close-ups, medium shots, long shots, panoramic shots, bird's eye view, worm's eye view, and silhouette. And then you got chapter 2, the secrets of form, making an object look real. And this is about how to understand objects and turn them into forms, and the forms become, from shapes, right? So shapes, forms, and then objects. And very, very, understandable stuff, right? How to, samples of all the stuff becoming forms and how shapes become the forms of those subjects you want to draw and how you can draw basically anything you can imagine by those basic shapes. And then you have here shading, right? And you keep more examples of form as you see here. We're going to keep going. Chapter 3, the power of perspective. This is about perspective design, right? Like how everything is like sampled, right? And good ideas of showing you what those things are and what they mean, and more samples and more ideas of what perspective can do. And it's a really good book on helping you understand form and perspective in making comics. And you got chapter 4, let's study the figure. So now we get to study, in this chapter, we get to study the characters and their heights and the different things that feature male and females and the average schmo versus the Marvel way hero and things like that. You have a lot of good examples of what those things mean. And you got chapter 5, let's draw the figure. This part is dynamite, so let's not waste a second. Okay, so we have like stick figures here, and these are like really cool examples too of like how they would draw the stick figures and then build up from the forms and then build the characters up. They did it here too. Look at that, Spider-Man. And then more again with Thor, and then again with this female superhero here, right? Chapter 6, the name of the game is action, right? And then this is like the way the true action is for Marvel, and then not bad and then weak. So it really gives you some good visual insight into how extreme and so overproportioned Marvel comics are, because that is what gains the reader's attention, right? And through all this stuff, right, all these different stick figures, you get to see why Marvel comics are very popular, right? And why a lot of people wanted to draw the Marvel style, because Marvel was the place to go and be when it comes to drawing comics. There was some human character qualities in these stories that were being made, right? And the character qualities of the stories, chapter 7, foreshortening the knack of drawing the figure in perspective, right? And look, even a person is in perspective. And that 3D realism gives them a bit of humanity when it comes to heroes. Even though they're like heroes, there's a sense of like normality when it comes to Marvel superheroes, unlike DC superheroes, who are like, some of them are like gods, right? And Marvel has gods too, but more the idea of it is that there's more humanity when it comes to Marvel. Human stories, right? Look at the head, drawing the head, right? Chapter 8. Here we have more head angles, right? And we have more understanding of the head shapes and why they're formed a certain way, and more expressions and more ideal looks for the face. We have villain heads, right, which are more exaggerated than the heroes because they're a lot more to draw, and you can draw just ridiculous villains. And you got the female head, which like the grace and strength, right? And you have more examples of the female head here. And more heads of expressions. Look at the different expressions. And you have bad girls, right? And then you have how to draw them elderly. And then the don't do this, don't do that, a lot of that stuff. And then you have the female face. Look at how amazing they look, right? Very, very cool, because you get to see and feel and understand what they're going through. There's a lot of emotion when it comes to female superheroes versus male. Male also has emotion, but females carry more story because they have more nurturing in stories. So they receive a lot of story development. You have composition, chapter 9. More composition here. Some more examples of composition. One thing about the book is just the incredible examples of art that go with the idea, right? Like John Buscema just did an incredible job of helping us understand the difference between just a normal comic and a good comic. Like good entertainment versus exaggerating entertainment. That's what you want. You want real in-your-face moments, right? And this is like a comic page made by like someone not from Marvel. And this is the Marvel way. Look at the difference, right? And then you have more examples of like the way they would do it and the way Marvel would do it, right? As you can see there. Chapter 10, draw your own comic book, right? Right here, we have like a way to draw comics right here. Look at this. Look at all that stuff. Again, more form, shapes and forms. And then you get to see the actual results of the comic, right? Again, here's another example. It all starts with stick figures. This is thumbnailing, right? And then after the thumbnailing, you start adding the forms, the shapes and the forms. And then after that, you build up from the shapes and forms into these incredible results, right? And there's more. Look at this. The comic book cover. Chapter 11, how to draw a comic book cover. This is the thing that's going to grab someone's attention, because you see that and you go, oh, Nova's going up against Spider-Man. I got to check that out. Why is Nova going up against Spider-Man? Right? And you have all this cool like examples of what the editors had to go through and what they wanted and what they didn't want, and like the results. Look at that. It's cool art. And then you have chapter 12, the final part of the book, inking. Inking is a final thing, but it's the most important, because the precise way of how to draw in ink, it all depends. Look at the different examples of drawing, right? And then you have inking here, like the right way to ink. Look at the like all the spaces that show detail and how their meaning are. And then you have this inking over here, right? You see this inking over here. It's all like crowded, right? It's all crowded. It looks bad, right? And this is too much. You can't really tell what's going on because there's too much inking. You got to know where to ink and how to ink properly so that you give attention. This is like a page that's not inked very good. It's less inked, right? Some more here. Some more ink examples here. Some more here, right? A lot of like shapes, like ink shapes to help you understand how to draw, right? A lot of stuff. This is basically the coloring part of the black and white comics. And that is pretty much it. And you have like an Excelsior part of it. So I can't wait to read this once my one-shot comic is done, because I'm going to be going through this entire book chapter by chapter, and I'm going to be drawing my very own one-shot comic using how to draw comics the Marvel way. But that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you very much for joining me. And in the next video, I'm going to go get the tools, and I'm going to show you the tools and what the tools do and things like that. And then I'm going to start doing the chapters and actually start drawing and writing out a comic one-shot so you can all enjoy and see using the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Like, subscribe, share the video. See you later.